Hello everyone, thank you to be here. We are Naël and Thomas, and we are excited to present you our portfolio project, Ori and Nori. Ori and Nori is a platform that revolutionizes your pet socialization by connecting the owners. If you own a pet, this always makes sense for you, but if you don't have a cat, a dog, or even goldfish, let me explain. Socializing your pet can be a real challenge, sometimes even a nightmare, and I speak from experience. One day, when I was with my dog Ori, I encountered an owner and his dog, and when Ori approached them, he wanted to pepper spray us. At the moment, I don't understand, but after some reflection, I realized that they lacked exposure to other people and other pets, and it is very important in the dog education. But thanks, because that's when Ori and Nori was born. And what our purpose? We want to improve our companion social life, to create a trusted community of pet owners, and to help the owners usually organize their meetups. And how did we build this project? With Maël, we had collaborated on other projects, and we knew we worked well together. So I'm focused on the front end and project management.
Hi, I'm glad to see you here, and I'm Maël. I'm focused more on the back end of Ori and Nori.
And we had collaborated on everything, but we decided to divide our task based on your preferences and to work more efficiently. So, in this MVP features, Ori and Nori offers simple but effective features. You can create and manage your pet profile, your meetups. You can also join with or without your pet, and you can leave it and suggest meetup to another users. And finally, you can visualize on a map your meetups and filter to refine your search. So all you need is a pet, place, and motivated owners, and let's go to a meetup. And rather than just talking about this, let's show a demo.
So for the demo, we already create a user account for it. So Thomas gonna log it, and after the log, gonna create his first pet. So we're gonna create, of course, Ori, his fun pet. The name, the gender of the pet, the species and the breed, which we can work. You're gonna add a little few words about it. Of course, you want to spread the cuteness of Ori around the world, so you're gonna add a photo of it. After add a photo, you're gonna put the date of birth, if he's vaccinated or not. And after it, you're gonna rate Ori about his personality. Once you create Ori, you're gonna look at the on pet, so you can see here the pet Thomas own, so Chacha and Ori. After it, you're gonna search for a pet profile, so here we want to look at the cat European. So you have a lot like a creation of the same breed list. After you filter it, you can find the beautiful profile of Nori. In the profile of Nori, we can see the last review about Nori, the last meetup Nori do, and of course you can see the upcoming meetups if you want to join Nori in the meetup. For the meetup, you can create a meetup if you want, or just join one. You're gonna search a meetup, you're gonna saw it on the map, or you're gonna see all the meetup and the species and breed. On the meetup view, you can look, you can join with one or more pets. After the meetup is passed, you're gonna have a meetup history. On the meetup history, you're gonna see all your past meetup, and you're gonna review all meetup. In a review, you're gonna review the meetup firstly. Here, a ballad with Maya was a lovely ballad. And after, you're gonna review Maya. And Maya is a lovely pet. Completely wonderful. Totally. And that's all for the demo.
So for the overall architecture and technology we used for Ori and Nori, the interface, the users interact with an interface that displays information and send requests to the backend, and this interface is made with Tailwind CSS, AlpineJS, and Edge.js.
After the user sends a request from the interface, the backend made with Adonis.js gonna send requests from the database made with PostgreSQL, and the database we gonna answer back with requested data.
Ori and Nori interact with some tools and library and external API like OpenCage, Leaflet, and OpenStreetMap for the mapping, and Makepeak to send email. And we use Docker and for the containerization of our project, and deliver for visualization of our DB.
I'm gonna show you the first snippet. First, on the left, you have gonna get all the meetup, and the page gonna be this page. And you see on the demo the church meetup. After I get all the addresses from the meetup, I'm gonna pass through the geocoding code with the OpenCage for displaying it on the map. And all this code with the front gonna show you all the page for your own meetup.
For the development, it felt like a marathon, but we spent December and January to defining our methodology, outlining our MVP, and after we found the idea of Ori and Nori, since February, we've been coding with communication as your motto. We planned everything on GitHub project, so deadlines, schedules, and priorities. And after we organize a regular meeting, search our problem, found solutions, with collaboration and expertise.
Ori is for us a successful project. We learned a lot about it. We began with totally new technology in this project. We never used Adonis.js or Tailwind or PostgreSQL, but we made some mistakes. Firstly, during the MVP phase, we aiming too big. Really, it was too big for us. We are a small team, no time available. So we are much in the client point of view than the developer point of view, firstly. And we also can say we need to use more modular code instead of repeating it inside our code. But all this this problem, this complication, led us to build a strong and robust platform for Ori and Nori, and refine our approach. We built a technical implementation with a lot of core features, with geolocating data, a lot of data relationship handling. We also built a cohesive design system with all responsive, with a color system for the branding. You can also see it on the presentation. We overcome a lot of challenges like date and time formatting, or also the geocoding data that was really hard. All the front end was really hard. Responsiveness, displaying a lot of patch routing system like you see was really hard. We have some problem with mailing too, and the messaging application too. We stay focuses on the user experiences for a great experience for the user and something really smooth. Future of Ori and Nori. Firstly, it was an enjoyable experience. Like I said before, we go a lot in all the points, managing technically. It was really, really a lot of experience for us. We stay focusing in our core value, like pet well-being, user focusing experience. We want to enhance Ori and Nori further with, why not, maybe a pet sitter list, a vet referencing, or a mobile app. And thanks to you to your listening, and thanks to Thomas and Ori and Nori. If you have any question.
How do you find the breed database for cats and dogs?
Database, we just have a database on the Google. Really, you just type, you have a lot of CSV with all breeds or all the spaces, and that's all. And this was the image is just on the one page. It was the image of dog. On the one page to open
and
the
splash, and splash for the image.
But just the database is really just.
Okay.
And after we use the deliver for import the CSV from the database.
Okay. Because also another question. Because do you have experiences with different users? Because the database seems very large for all the dogs and cats. It's very easily to find the dogs or the right cats or not.
On the database, we have some problem to refine it. We want to, when you choose a cat, we want only the cat breeds, but we fail to do it really.
Okay.
And we want to import it later. And you can just type bulldog if you want BULL, it's going to find already bulldog.
Okay.
So it's pretty easy, we can scroll, but it's a long, long list. We omitted it.
Thanks.
Other question, maybe? You're fine? Thank you. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Today I will be presenting my project, which is called Skate for Retry. It's a collaborative platform to learn skateboarding. So let's talk a bit more about it. So we have a major problem as a skateboarder myself. I've been skateboarding for 20 years now. So learning skateboarding is pretty hard actually. You have no real skateboarding school in the world. There are a few, but really not that much. So that's why I decided to make this platform to help beginner and advanced skateboarders to reach out and share knowledge about tricks. So for the dev team, I was on my own on this project, so I did the front-end development and the back-end development. How did I approach this project? So my initial thought was, okay, I'm gonna need to organize myself. So I chose to use Trello to track my progress, manage my tasks. For the version controlling, I used the GitHub. And for to design the UX and UI, I used the schema. The second step, when I was making a website, I was like, okay, now I need to make a database schema. So here we have my class diagram, which represents all the interaction between every different classes. So here we have the user table, so the user is going to have a username, a password, and we have all the interactions. For example, the interaction here with the post, the user can make a post, other users can comment on the post, and also a post can have a video. For the tech stack, so I choose to realize this project, I choose to use for the backend Python with the framework Flask. For the front end, I use the Vite plus React, which is a JavaScript framework. For the database, I use SQLite tree, and for the authentication, I use GWT. We'll be talking about the struggle I had during the making of this project. So the main issue I had is that I had no clue on my computer. I don't know how. I had an old version of MySQL, so my initial thought was okay, I'm just going to update MySQL and everything will be fixed. But right after I did that, I still had some problem and found out later that the framework I used decided to stop supporting MySQL. So I had to switch from MySQL to SQLite tree. And also, when I did that, I also had some problem regarding the authentication for the user to do some task with authorization. I was using Flask login before, and I switched to GWT. Now I will show you the code, what it looks like after the changes. So here on top, you can see the basically the code that's responsible for the user when he creates a post. So here we have here the line that says that the user has to be identified before doing the action of creating a post. And down there we have all the logic when the user creates his post. Now I will show you, I will proceed to the demo to show you what it looks like. So we are on the landing page. We're now logging with the user. So now I'm logging with the user. I can browse different categories. So here we have the beginner category. I have different tricks. For example, the holy trick. We have here the title, the description if you want to add any more tips, a video that we can play if we want. Here we can put it in full screen if we want. And also, we can, of course, comment on posts. So here I'm going to make a comment. On top of that, you can, of course, create a new post. So this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to create a new post with my user. So here we enter the name of the trick, the content, some more explanation. Little text. Here we can choose a category. I would say this is an advanced trick. And we can either put a MP4 URL or a YouTube URL for the video. So I put the video and I create my post. And if I go back to my post, I should see the post I just made. Here, with the video, the titles, the infos. And I can, of course, the user can also manage a post. So here, let's say I want to edit the post I just made. I want to change let's say the title, I can title. You can change the description. You can change everything I want. I want to make it expert. You can even change the video if I want. I update it here. If I go back to my posts, it will be coaching expert, I believe. Yes, it will be better. So that was it for the demo. I will keep on with the presentation. So what I learned during this project, I learned how to overcome issues with database. I improved my full stack skills since I work on backend and frontend. I also learned a lot about version control using GitHub, and it really helped me out to structure my work. And now I will remember to have everything updated before starting an important project. In conclusion, this project really improved my skill as a developer. Doing this alone was really interesting because it will allow me to have a full understanding of the project. And for future plans, I would like to add a real-time chat mobile optimization. And that was it for my presentation. Thanks for your attention.
So you talked about the version control. What type of strategy did you use to have everything in order?
So what I did, I had, of course, my main branch. I had a test branch, which was the branch that I decided to merge all the other work that was on the branch, and I would test every functionality of this test branch before merging it to the. That's how I proceed.
You're talking about tests. What kind of tests did you do?
So for the testing, it was mostly curl tests to try to make sure everything is created correctly. Also, I made sure I could check if, let's say, a user had to be logged in before doing certain actions. So that was the type of test I was making, trying to see if another user cannot delete another user post, stuff like that.
Could you show us the creation account page? I'm just curious on what kind of information you are asking your user.
It's a really simple page. It's just a register page. I will take the username and password. That's all I ask.
Okay. And how are you storing the passwords?
Passwords are directly storing the password in the DB, and it's hashed. It's the hash password that is stored in the DB directly on the user model essentially.
So you choose to have the videos on other services, ones you are not currently hosting.
Yes.
Why?
Well, originally I wanted to host the videos with Cloudinary, but then since I only needed one video on my post, I didn't want people to post 3 videos or stuff like that. I found this solution to be better, in my opinion. So I chose to make. So yeah, you're right. The video on the page is I use iframe for the YouTube video and the HTML video plays. I don't say for the if it's an MP4 file.
Question about user experiences. So can you register just to make things clear for me?
Yes, so I'll register quick down the one. Yes.
Yes. How do you decide to make 3 categories about beginner, advanced, and experts, and about your experiences about skating? How do you find yourself on the 3 categories? Is simple for beginner skaters to find solutions and information, and how do you make the difference between a beginner and an advanced person?
Okay. So maybe I wasn't clear about that, but yeah, these categories are about the tricks that are inside it. And so yeah, basically on the beginner tricks, for now you can basically post anything, but yes, in the future I would definitely make sure to do subcategories.
Okay.
So ideally, I want in the beginner, for example, already pre-made categories with every trick name. And in this trick name, which actually would be a category, you would have all the posts regarding that trick.
Okay.
That's how it would be better.
Okay, thanks. No more questions.
First, thanks for being here. We are going to present our portfolio project, Ruby. Now a quick introduction. After years of working in the construction industry, we identified a major problem. Companies are left with material at the end of project. Most of materials are kept for a long time, then thrown away by this company. Moreover, the majority will never be recycled. There's two impacts, environmental and economic. The solution will be that is a leading marketplace for second-hand materials. Companies reduce their waste and individuals get materials at discount prices. Our team is composed by 3 persons. Clément is a designated naturally project manager. Nicolas is designated chief project officer, and me is business logic leader. Nevertheless, each of us code a little bit of everything on the back end and the front end because it was an opportunity for us to learn. Enough talking, let's see Ruby in action.
Okay, so here you can see I have two windows. I have two windows. So the left one is the buyer side, the seller side, sorry, and the right one is the buyer side. So here I am going to see my company, and inside I have access to this button where I can create a posting. So I'm going to choose a picture. I'm going to sell some planks, for example. We can enter a product description. Then you can select a category. As you can see, we have a pretty extensive category system because we want to be a specialized marketplace. So it's going to be isolation, for example. Then you can specify the quantity, the price, the condition also of the product because it's second hand, so it can be useful, and the unit if you want in liters, depending on what you're selling. Then you can publish the posting, and you can see it appears on the list right here. Now I'm going to go to the buyer side. I lost my mouse. Okay. I'm going to go to the buyer side and search for the planks. So as you can see, we have interactive suggestion system which is based on the database. And there I see my planks. So I'm going to place an order on the planks. While I'm at it, I can show you that the website is pretty responsive. Here it goes to mobile, and almost all of the screens are responsive. So I'm going to buy the planks. And as you can see, the order is placed. So now if I come back to the seller side and I see the list of orders, there I see the order for the plank by week, which is the right screen. And I can accept the order. And you will see the timeline advances, and now it's accepted. When the order is ready, I can click again and mark it as retrievable. And there, on the buyer side also, you can see it's retrievable, and similar to Go, for example, you can confirm you received the order. Another way of filtering that I didn't show you is the category system on the right, where you can have the extensive categories I showed you, and subcategories, and then you can filter from there. And that's it for the demo.
Well, now I will present you our almost 2 months workflow. So we really aimed to follow the agile method with based on the Scrum way to do, and how can I say that? So we use a GitHub project, which was very useful for to
For the issues.
to assign issues, to develop different tasks for each member of the team, and every sprint we did was closed with a review, with a PR, and so we could.
We had rules on the PRs because we wanted to be able to see each other's code and to review each other. So we had strict rules on the branches where you had to have at least one PR, and the PR had to have at least one review.
Yeah, and so we could review with all the unit tests we did each on with own part, and well, we could work on each of us worked on all the aspects of the project, so that was interesting for us for the learning experience, and we made a review each day, at its closing sprint, to have communication flowing, and to know how to figure out with the next step with the sprint, and well, so at first we started with we laid out the architecture just after defining the MVP. We made a database. We set up the ORM, and then we made the logic layer, the business logic layer. Is sorry, I have some. If you can help me.
We did the backend and the rules for the API.
And after that, we connect everything to the front, to the interface, to the client side.
So now I'm going to get a bit more in depth with the technical details, without boring you, I hope. So for the technical decisions, we went into the project with a learning mindset. So we tried to choose the right tools for the job, but we also tried to choose tools we didn't learn before at Wolverton. So we wanted to try a modern and pretty used framework. So we went with Next.js with Node as a runtime because it's the more common one for JavaScript projects. For the persistence layers, we wanted to try MongoDB because first we didn't learn it, like I said, but also because it has a great way to scale. You can scale horizontally with a NoSQL database comparatively to a vertical scaling on the SQL database. For the front end, we tried React and Tailwind to have a modern workflow. And we tried to make sure, like Nicolas said, to have a way of working that is close to what we do in companies. So we had our code linted, formatted with Prettier, and also we tried to do as much unit test as we could on the backend side. So almost all of our backend is tested. So I can show you an example of our code. This code snippet is responsible for the categories filtering on the sidebar that I showed you last in my presentation. So it's a pretty interesting code snippet because we used recursion on it, which we didn't think we would need in a web project, but we did. And so you give it one category, sorry, and it's going to fetch all the children until it reaches the end, and then you can have the filters. As you can see, the code is commented because, like we said, we reviewed each other's code, so we wanted to keep it as clean and maintainable as we could. Now for a quick retrospect of our project. So the results, we were able to achieve 115% of our MVP features, which means we listed all the features we wanted to do for the MVP and the ones we didn't want, and the one we would do if we had time. And for example, the pictures in the posting was not part of the MVP, but we managed to do them in the time. We also managed to do a pretty responsive and modern front end. That was the first for us. We achieved a company-grade development workflow. We didn't have a pipeline, a CI, and stuff like that, but at least for the development part, it was pretty solid, I think. And an objective of the project was to learn 7 technologies, and we managed.
And for the next steps, the real challenge for us for this website is to get known and become the reference for people renovating their homes. The goal is to help them find cheaper materials while doing something good for the planet. But we need to add messaging, location service. We have a lot to do legal compliance, and we really want to fight good accessibility and environmental impact. And the most important thing is to gather feedback from professionals. These projects were really helpful to experience larger scale teamwork and practice our communication, as coordinating work was critical.
Also, a pretty important point was to, for every group project, we have to listen to each other and sometimes let go, because we have a different way of working, different way of seeing things. And this project was an opportunity to put that in practice. We had to put the good of the group above the individual, and that was a great experience.
At the beginning, we didn't have CSAs, we didn't know the technologies. That's why we chose them. We wanted to learn. And so we read a lot of documentation. It took a lot of time, but without regret, because all along we really evolved, and we really improve our knowledge with the next React technologies, with Oat and everything. It's a really good experience.
Thanks for your attention.
So you talked about the sprints. How many weeks, days did you do for the one sprint?
So we had 2 months roughly of total coding time, and each sprint was more or less 1 week. It wasn't really strict, but we had roughly sprints of 1 week.
Okay. Yeah, it could be 3 days, 10 weeks.
So you showed us a Gantt diagram. How did you elaborate it? Like, why did you choose the steps you did, and if you could go back, would you do it differently?
We have suivi the recommendation of Alberton task for programming Gantt planning. And
yeah, first we write all the classes first when we define our architecture. So naturally, we did projects before, like admin, and we scale on this project for the process. But using these technologies is very different. So evolving in the project, we try to adapt ourselves in the process.
It's really cool to have a evolutional aspect about construction houses or rehabilitation houses, but my main question is, what is the difference between you and your project and another platform like Le Bon Coin?
The main difference, I would say, is the fact that we are specialized, because in Le Bon Coin you can buy pretty much anything. You have extensive categories also, but targeting pretty much everything you can buy. We have extensive categories, but specialized. So in Le Bon Coin you have materials, and that's it. Here you can filter by anything. So that's the main difference, and all of the UX will revolve around that. But for things that are similar to Le Bon Coin, we took the good ideas, and for things where we needed to specialize, we tried to do it this way.
At the end, you talk about legal aspects and also environmental footprints. Do you think it's better to improve your project with this kind of amelioration on your project, or it's better to go at the beginning of the project with legal aspects and not to improve your project with legal aspects, but to beginning with it?
You're right that it's easier to do it step by step all throughout the project, but the time frame was pretty short for this project, so we couldn't afford to train on legal stuff. But for now the project is pretty minimal, so it's still possible to catch up. But yeah, if we had to do it again with a bigger time frame, I think we would have done it from the start.
When you demoed the website, you put the Android and the iOS on the do you really have the applications?
No.
Not yet. Not yet. It's planned, but not yet.
And another thing is when you are doing marketplaces, you have to deal with scams. Did you think about that?
Yes, but for the same reasons we couldn't do a full-on moderation system right from the start. But yeah, it's one of the things we identified as the next steps to solidify the user experience and ensure you have good support, you have checking of the pictures also, to have not offensive stuff, and along with the legal stuff, you have this cache and things like that you have to take into consideration. So yeah, it's in the next steps.
I don't know if we have enough time yet.
Yes, yes.
Did you test to take one functionality of paying in your platform, like Stripe or something about this?
We plan to.
You plan to?
Yeah, we plan to.
Okay.
We plan to. That's the next steps.
To have in-app payment?
Yeah, to take service and implement it inside. Like for messaging, say,
Okay.
We will figure out who is this. But we plan to make maybe from scratch.
Okay.
Because we think that it can have some can be viable. So
Because for now, your payment is end by end without you, and without the platform.
Yeah, now we.
Okay.
Last one.
Last one. Did you think about any hosting strategy? I didn't see if it was on localhost format.
And it's a key problem for a lot of stuff too.
I'm not so sure.
Right now it's on localhost. But the goal of this project, and that's the vision we had from the beginning, is to make it a full-on project, to deploy it. So we didn't really explore the options for hostings because it's just an MVP for now. But yeah, for sure we are going to try to host it and find the most suitable solution.
Thanks.
Hi everyone. First, thanks to be present for our demo day. Today we're gonna present you Jaguar. Jaguar is a password manager. It's done to help people to store and keep their password and their data secure. Jaguar was made by two persons. Present here, Jordan for the front-end developer, Emric for the browser navigation extension, and me for the backend. Now,
so why did you decide to create a Jaguar? Cybersecurity tools can be complicated for some people, and we understood older and younger people often struggle to use these tools. For example, our grandparents didn't know how to protect their data, and existing tools can be too complex. That's why we want to create user-friendly and intuitive design for interface. But also, we aim to raise awareness about the importance to data security and help users to develop a bit. Now, we're going to present architecture.
So the central element of the architecture is API. It connects all the parts of the application and it transmits the various data. For the front and the browser extension, it encrypts and decrypts data. This data are stored in the database securely and encrypted. This data, for the back end, it's random to enable to applications to function, and it harmonizes all. And now Anzo will speak to you about that.
so first we had to learn all the new technologies because we didn't see one of them in our scholarity at Toulouse. Secondly, we start to code the backend, front-end, and Emric starts the browser extension. Third week, we had some functionality like sharing mode, autofill, and 4 week, we just fix some bugs and add some tools on the landing page. And now, a little demonstration.
So, wherever you start in the application, you start on the landing page. You can subscribe, connect, and enable or enable like the dark mode. So, on the landing page, you have a little explication of the application. You have some tools like password analysis. You can try your actual password, the string, and if it's low, you can try our password generator with a length of 8 to 64. Now we will connect to the application with a fictive account, just for the demo.
Very secure.
Very good password. So when you're connected, you start on the dashboard. You have so many tools like reuse analysis and password leak. You have a little access to the vault, and you can export your file in CSV. Like for the password reuse, you can see if you have 2 identical passwords or more. You can click on the square for see this password. You can edit them if you want. You can come back to the vault. The vault is the main, the core of the application. You can research your identifiant by name, the website name. You can edit them, you can delete them, and you can create new identifiants by a website name, identifiant, and you can generate a new password. And now I will speak to you about API, Q&A, and sharing.
Thanks. So, if you want to share some password to your mom, for example, you can enter on the screen. You can select Facebook, Le Bon Point, and PayPal. Why not? You have to enter an access code. It will re-encrypt all the data to make a secure link. Yes. You have to send the link, and you have to enter the sharing code. Code access. Up. She get access. On the passport. Selected. Okay. We have a Q&A section. This section was on this section you have three sorted question answer and some article about cybersecurity. This section is done for help people to learn more about cybersecurity. And now, Emric will show you the extension.
Now I'm going to connect to the extension, and I'm going to connect go to the login page of Facebook. Work. Now you can see a pop-up open and detect the URL and recover Facebook vault item. And you can add manually for the moment new vault item, and you can auto-file and connect, but you don't have account of Facebook. And extension detects the file and this file. Now we're going to speak about code snippet. This is a function to encrypt and decrypt with algorithm cryptogen iOS. Before we sending data, they encrypt, and we calling API to create post request, and this is the data when we send encrypt data.
This data
once in a database.
On the database. Yes. And the result.
We're going to speak about technology we use.
For the technology used, we use the MongoDB for the backend because it provides secure and flexible. We also use the Node.js and TypeScript for Node.js and TypeScript for under request between the front and back. We use the Next.js framework for fast loading and interactive web page. For the front end, we use the React, Tailwind CSS, TypeScript, JavaScript for more responsive web page. And for the extension, we use JavaScript along with Chrome API for at the autofill and detection password. And for the rest, we use GitHub for the versioning and Discord for the teamwork communication. And now I will speak to you about the challenge.
During this project, we had a lot of challenge. First, we need to learn quickly new technology, like Next.js for framework, Tailwind for design, and MongoDB for database. And then we need to respect RGPD with encryptation and decryptation. All data need to hide once in a database. We learn to Chrome API to browser extension web, and link navigator and extension and web app. And finally, we harmonize all front end, back end, and web extension. And now Anzo will speak about the
Feature. So for the feature, we have to make a code cleanup and restructure a bit on the project. Secondly, we have to make a business research. Third, we have to make a mobile application, and we have to collect some advice from customers. Yes. And finally, we will commercialize the project. So to conclude, Jordan.
To conclude, Jaguar is an easy-to-use, secure, and accessible password manager. We learn a lot about new technologies, teamworking, and cybersecurity. Like that. Thanks for your attention, and we are here for response to your questions.
Right now, your extension works with Google Chrome. There is
Yes,
also
only
Chrome.
yes. Only Chromium,
Okay.
and after the feature, we work in Mozilla and Safari.
Okay. And what is the time for you to go, for example, in Mozilla or other extension, not in Chromium? Did you find the time of developing another extension?
Yes. I don't know for the moment because I don't learn other technology, other Chromium technology.
If you want, we will commercialize the project. So if you can't work on the Mozilla version, for example, Jordan or I will work on it.
Okay.
It's not, but I think the project will be done in 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
And be completely done.
Why do you develop? Why do you develop a CSV export? Because for me, it's a major possibility leak of password.
That's for RGPD standard. We can't take in a stage the user. If he want to leave the application, he can delete his account. But if he don't have his password somewhere, he just lost all his password. So it's not very user-friendly.
The RGPD asks to be in CSV export, not.
No.
Okay.
RGPD asks to the user can delete his account and all this data if you want.
Okay.
Show you.
So wish you can show you. What CSV is a format lambda for Excel or the user password manager, for example. And here you can suppress.
Okay.
It's okay. And if we go on the database, Clermont-Val doesn't exist anymore. Because it never existed.
So for password managers like that, one very big feature for me is being able to be asked to generate a new password when I'm creating a new account. Is it available or not?
Not now. It will enable with the extension browser.
Okay.
For now, the extension you can create one item with all the data. You can autofill, but it's my fault because I work on the database and I didn't take all the information to ensure the browser extension will make the link.
Another question is by the the reactivity of the generation the password that are being generated, it looks like you are doing it directly in the browser or the Chrome extension. What kind of strategy did you use for that?
RGPD, for the RGPD standard, we have to encrypt and decrypt directly on the front and never on the back, because on the back data will never and never to be in plain text. So we have to encrypt and decrypt directly from the front, and it's for that activity is pretty good. And, yes.
But the thing is, if I can reverse engineer the algorithm you are using for it, I can predict the password you are generating, so I can literally go into any account that Clara Morel has created on websites. So I think the better strategy would have been to send the backend the length, and you just encrypt and decrypt everything, because you have the public key to encrypt and decrypt everything you would need. Because I think, for me, it's easier to have your algorithm be up to date every time you want on your backend, other than having it being up to date on all your front end you have. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yes.
Prove me that I'm wrong.
I think you don't say bad things, but there is for the encryption and decryption, you saw on the code snippet, there is not only iOS and Crypto.js, there is two Salle, and I think we'll add some paper to encrypt this.
Ça dépend, tu vas parler de laquelle.
How do you detect word password leak? Because you have a database that is present and you ask for the database, or
it was to API call to have I been promoted?
I have a promise. Okay.
You can detect this.
Because there is an API for
yes.
to ask for availability. Okay.
One last question about the feature you showed us. When I share a password to my mom, if she has a coffre-fort, sorry, vault. Thank you. Can she add the password automatically into her vault or not?
Not now, because the user who receives the link doesn't have to be a user from our website to be more user friendly.
Okay. But just a feature I liked. I use LastPass,
Yes.
and I'm paying family. And I share passwords to my family, to like Amazon, Netflix. I think it's a good feature, because as the main provider of those accounts for my family, I can keep them up to date and not say to my mom, okay, the password has changed, now it's 50 character long, and do what you want with it. It's easier it's more user friendly, and one of the things you wanted to do is having an app that is user friendly. So I think it's a feature that can be very useful.
We'll work on a lot of future feature, and yes,
We have a lot of feature.
and we will let the prototype now is deployed. We will let this prototype from 2 months, I think, to collect a lot of advice with the Google form, to collect advice from the customers, ID, and voilà.
One last
Yes.
question. Just so password managers are very susceptible to being attacked by other mean guys. Did you have any strategy already in place to avoid attacks from other hackers?
Yes. For now, I made a red limit to empêche, I don't have the word, to empêche the DDoS attack. And for the future, for now, we are protected by Vercel security, but after I will make some tools and some program to protect this.
C'est bon.
Hello everyone, thank you to be here with us today. We are going to present you Relax So Good. Relax So Good is a customer project who consists on an e-commerce platform. We'll be selling CBD and clothes based on the hemp. This project was done by a team of 2 people. My teammate Jacob right on my left and myself. We both worked on every aspect of the project, in the front end, in the back end, and everything. Because we wanted to learn most of the aspects, see most of everything we need to do to have a fully complete website. Sorry.
Okay, a delayed welcome from me as well. Firstly, I'm going to talk about our timeline, when we did what in the project, which is going to be in 3 different parts. In the first 6 weeks, we created the project. We talked about it in the beginning quite a bit and tried to already figure out what we want to use in the project itself. After we did that, in week 2 we started to create the API, and then afterwards we finished the backend off with the database, and then started with the front end and created the landing page. After everything was done, we tried to connect all 3 together through the API, but we had a lot of problems with it, so we had to recreate the website anew. But because we already had everything before working out mostly, it went a lot faster because we already had figured out how to create the website itself. And then afterwards we just optimized the code a bit and improved the UI, and then created this presentation, and then we come to today, the demo day. Our technology we used was in the front end. We used Tailwind, and to connect Tailwind with Flask, we used Ginger. Flask is the main part, so mainly the API, and then we used SQL Alchemy to connect the Flask, so our API, with SQLite, so our database. Here you see a basic structure of our project, where the user can connect to the front end to see our landing page. The landing page requests the data from the API, so from our Flask app, and the Flask app routes between all of the different Flask extensions, and then through SQL Alchemy into our database. And then the database sends the data back to the front end and to our user interface to display what was requested.
So now I'm going to do a little live demo of what we have at the moment. So first thing first, when you get on the website for the first time, you get a edge verification. Since some of our products are under some legal, some law, we need to ask you. If you say no, you are redirected directly on the Google homepage. You press yes, you are on the landing page. We have a little dark and light mode, just for the customer preference. We got all the product displayed on the main page. If you want some description of the product, you just need to click see more, and you have the description right there. But as you can see, it's not in color. It's because you are not connected. So if you want to add it to the cart, you just need to connect yourself after register. Return on the product page. You can add it from the cart straight, really. You can go on the cart. If you want more than one, you have 2 options. You can go back to the product, add it to the cart, or just go to the cart, say, I want both. I want 2 of them, sorry. Update it. And after that, you can go to straight to the command, or if you don't want it, you can rid of it. When you're on the command, it will ask you your name, your last name, everything you need. The payment method will not be implemented until we've done a little bit of cybersecurity, so we'll be sure it will be 100% safe, no leaking information or anything like that. you will have a confirmation of the page right after. So right now I'm connected with an admin account where I can create a product, where I can enter a title, a description, put a price, upload an image, or even update the already existing product. Like if I want to lower the price of the t-shirt made with ants, I just need to click on update, lower the price. I don't need to re-upload the image, it will keep it. Just need to click on update, and that's it. The price will be updated, it will be displayed on the main page too. And that's it. We are going back to the presentation.
So next off, I'm going to show you a bit of our code. On the left side, you can see the front end part of the create product page. So when you can actually make the product, this is what is shown. There's a little bit more, but this is the main part of it. And on the right side, you can see the API part of the create product, where it first sees if you are an admin or not. And if it is, you can actually create the product with a file like an image and the description and everything else. And then afterwards, it's being pushed onto the landing page, and you're being redirected back to the landing page as well. Our challenges in the project were mostly time-based, because even though we were 2 people, it was still a big project to create, and especially because we had to recreate the product and the landing page. Time was a very big problem we had, so we had to prioritize our tasks and figure out which one were more important to first create, and then focus on the ones that weren't that important. So in general, prioritizing tasks were a very big part as well. And then the development complications that I already talked about, that we just couldn't do everything we wanted to do, but in the end, I think our product worked out fine. And communication sometimes was a big problem, but most of the time, because we lived quite close to one another and we could meet up, it in the end worked out quite well. So in conclusion, what we learned is we have to prioritize our tasks, and the time management of the prioritization is very important. And I think we misjudged the time that we had a lot, and we thought we had enough time to create our project, but in the end we were a bit stressed, but we got it all to work in the end, so that's that. The teamwork of the front end and the back end on what we did and how we created it together was very important to learn, and I think we improved both on it. Our problem-solving skills on how to approach a problem and then in the end solve it happened a lot, because there were a lot of bugs we had to fix, and they weren't always easy. Sometimes it took us almost a week just for a simple problem. And in general, learning new languages like using Tailwind for the front end was a very big part of what we learned.
For the continuation of the website, we plan to do a little bit of cybersecurity, like I told before. We plan to make it look more like we plan to make it look more like the client wants. I can show you already the version. Supposedly, if you was working, we will present you this one. It corresponds more of the description of the client. So we are trying already at this moment to make it work. It's working at 70%, if I can say it like that. But we still have some bugs, like the API have trouble to responding for the logging and everything else. But it's in a good way. we plan to improve the category product, like for the category you can display only the clothes, only the accessory, only the cream for the body, or even the tea, anything like that. And of course to deploy it so it can be useful for the shop of or the owner of the shop of my car. Thank you.
Thanks for the presentation. Did you try to integrate some of stock or logistics features in your website?
Handling the stock and the logistic was planned, but since we encountered a lot of trouble, we decided to put it in a second plan and do the website we show you today with working, so like that we have something concrete to show you and not something just completely full bag and nothing was working. But yeah, it's on the plan for the problem.
Last question for me. Why the brand identity of your presentation and your website is very different? Because I think, like I see right now, the brand identity is very maybe geek or digital, and your website is very regular without some green feature or some green button. So why is this a big difference between the brand identity of the presentation and the website?
So, like we already said, we had our project made and then had to change it again. But I just tried to create a presentation in the style of the CBD so that you have some green in it. And yes, the style of the presentation itself and the website is different, but I just try to create it in a special way, and just not that it's just blank page.
Okay.
And since we needed to do a complete rework of the website, the first scheme was completely different than the second one. So we don't have the time to remake everything, even the presentation, the time schedule was too short.
Okay.
So you've used the word marketplace, I think. Is it really a marketplace or just, with the big quotes, a site where Relax So Good is IRL point of sale, un magasin, where people buy stuff, or me, Benjamin, I can create an admin account and sell hemp-based products?
The project is for IRL, what you say, shop. Well, I said it in the beginning, maybe I was not clear, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's for the IRL shop on a little city where I live, where I was born, and it doesn't have a website, so I told him no. And that's it. I needed a website, it doesn't have one, and we made some contract, and that's it.
Okay, so sorry about this interpretation on my part. I think there is something that is missing on your what we learned section. Is why and how could you have done better to not just redo all the work during the first 6 weeks? I think it's
We were thinking about not redoing the whole work at first and just try to fix all of the bugs. But we had a lot of talks with our teachers as well. And in the end, we could have continued with our old project, but when we thought about the time-wise, if we could have continued or if we should have just redone the whole website, we wouldn't have been finished by now with the old project that we had, because the bugs were so severe and we had to adjust a lot in the actual old project that we just decided to recreate the project.
And even speaking with time management and priorities, we learn that sometimes do everything by ourselves is not the most efficient way. Like an example, during the backend development, I even started to recreate my own login system, scripted password, login, token, authorization, everything else, and I almost made it, but I was losing too much time. I just keep it on the side and we take it back next week, next month to continue it, but it was just losing too much time with the leadership we have.
But how would you not do that in future projects?
We know it the hard way. Like if we think it a little bit more before start coding, we will have something better. But like since it was the first time, we made some basic error, but it's a part of the learning phase. Another question?
Thanks.
Hello everyone, thank you for being today. I'm going to present you my project marketplace for video games. It's called Passion JV. So a little bit about me. I have a big passion for video games and I aspire to build a studio to be part of this industry. Passion JV is my first step where I want to build a marketplace for physical games only with a microservice architecture application. A future and present project which I will challenge my future. The technology I use for my project, and as I am the backend and frontend developer, the tools I use are React, Postman, MySQL, Node.js Express, Kubernetes, and Docker. For the project architecture, so I use the database MySQL, which requests SQL with the server, Node.js plus Express, who was contained and encapsulated with Docker, and there's an orchestration with the master Kubernetes to handle everything, and the API RESTful with React to have the client and the server communication. I choose this code snippet to show that I have a preference for static code because it has the advantage to keep it modularity, security, friendly user for integration, performance optimization, scalability, maintenance, error detection compilation, and explicit code. So the project timeline I had, since I am all alone, the first step was the project definition. What is the best project to suit my aspiration with gaming industry and further projects in C++? What could be a good start to get logic in OS architecture design? Step 2, that was a really big time backend creation, so database construction in MySQL, server creation with Node.js and Express framework for requests, server virtualization with an orchestration, and encapsulation via Docker and Kubernetes for fine-tuning. The step 3 was the front-end development. With the API RESTful behavior interaction, I linked the visual graphic allowed by React to translate and manage all data from my backend construction. And the last step was the project startup, where I performed debugging to fix issues, conducted tests to ensure functionality, optimize performance, and finally deployed my application to a production environment. I'm going to show you a little demo of marketplace. So here's your ultimate gaming destination. So we are at the home page where there's the spotlight to highlight the game that it is most expected. To navigate through the marketplace, we have the game section, accessories, you can sign up, sign in, info news, and the cart. You can have precommand, games news, and games. When you go to games, you can filter if you want some games that are only in pre-order. You can choose the console you want for games. You can also choose if you have a specific genre preference for games. For the accessory part, you can choose between the consoles you want an accessory. For the home space of the customer, I designed to have the information account where he can modify his addresses. He can manage his payment cards. There's a quick reminder about the codes of bon d'achat and gift cards. He can also see what orders he has made, what is his wish list. You can also make friends in my marketplace. You can even send a message which actually is a placeholder and will be a future. And you can even create a gift card for a friend and send it, and also see which friends send you a gift card with a personal message. I also put the support for the customer. when he can create a ticket about some problem he might have with some order, say object, message, and attach documents. You can also see all the tickets customers he has, what are resolved, waiting, pending, and I also highlight the FAQ because this for other marketplaces it stands always at the down of the page very small, and I think that it's a good way to have a customer to really have clear policy. I think yes, I also put on marketplace to have more visits and enhance community gaming about physical games. Is to know about what's happening in the game industry with articles where you can see what's happening. I forgot it was a placeholder for a moment. And for the sign up, I tried to put some advice on the ModPass keyword. Sorry. Up. And we're going back to the. Yes, I didn't show the highlight situation, so we can see the trailer, the gameplay, details about game, and you can also put some reviews with stars. And this is something in the further I want to negotiate with indie and major studios, because actually digital customers have their game like 3 days before the release date, and for physical gamers there's no any advantage of it. So I'm gonna go back to sorry. So for the improvements for the project is a 3D and animation integration with 3D GDS to my front end in order to make the user experience as fun as a video game. Build a chatbot with Node.js to enhance user experience. It will also be used to moderate reviews. Third-party integration for customer payments, and OVH Cloud to host my project fully completed with cybersecurity services, and commercial agreements with major and indie studios. The challenge I love building this project is about being passionate, building solution, finding inspiration, catching creativity, staying motivated, and seeing the architecture design. Thank you.
Why OVH? You're already set up on OVH, or just why?
Sorry,
why OVH?
Because sorry. Because I have a preference for French companies.
Okay, we have another one. A real one. So, you've shown us that you can store your payment information on your website. Did you think about the security behind it?
Yes, that's why it's the future that will add to my marketplace to have the third-party application like PayPal and with a bank to secure the transaction with credit cards. For now, it's in the future.
Okay. So you're talking about just the transaction?
Yes.
But what we saw is that you are storing something on your server.
Yes.
So it's pretty sensitive information. So what's the strategy behind storing this data particularly?
Well, as I'm planning to host my project with OVH, I'm gonna see. I can learn a little bit about cybersecurity, but I think it's a huge thing for just me. So maybe with raising fundings, I could build a team or have this strategy to see the VH.
Why do you integrate ticketing management before all the features that you are present for the future of your website? Why ticketing first?
Yeah. Well, because as a gamer customer, this is something I've noticed that the client support and services are not very welcoming. So this is something I wanted to put in as an advantage of being at my market.